Welcome to KG5 for this round 9 clash in the MPL Tasmania. Hobart Zebras taking on Northern Rangers. Last time they met, it was one of the games of the season as a 10-man Hobart Zebras came storming back. They came from the clouds to win that day. They were 2-0 down a man, won at 4-2. What have both sides taken from that day? A lot of water has gone under the bridge since that round 2 meeting, and they arrive with this game today. Very different circumstances for both sides. The Zebras in desperate need of a win after they were lit up again last week by South Hobart, and their title hopes have taken a major hit since in round 2 they were sitting top of the table and feeling pretty good about themselves. They need to pick themselves back off the canvas today and take 3 points against a Rangers team who've probably dipped a little in the last couple of weeks as well. I'm Andrew calling for Slice of Cheese. Joining me today on his commentary debut, Daniel Webb. Good afternoon and welcome to the call, Daniel.
G'day, Andrew. I'm looking forward to this clash. The Zebras desperately need the 3 points to stay in the title race, so it should be a cracking game, hopefully.
Yeah, no doubt. The players out there warming up ahead of this hotly anticipated clash, the last game before the Laka Seljuk Cup final next week. So 2-week hiatus for both these sides after the game, so they can leave it all out on the pitch today. Take a look at the starting lineups in a moment for this game. It's a beautiful day at KG5. The sun is shining. It's pretty brisk, but the players won't mind that too much. We'll start with the home side, the Zebras. And a start for James Ackley after a couple of pretty good cameos off the bench in recent weeks. He gets the start today. Jaden Hay has been lining up on the wing in recent weeks. Ben Robinson, centre back or right back. Looking at that team lineup, we might well see him in the middle of defence today, I would expect. You've got Geordie Muller, the midfield general, one of the best central midfielders in the competition, asked to do so much for this team. Paolo Marcage, well, one of the brothers is in there today. Not big Alexander, he has a broken jaw, but Paolo missed last week, and he comes into the starting lineup today. Stone Cold Riley Dillon gets his second start for the team, made his debut last week, and quickly left his mark, not just on the competition, but on Nick Morton while he was at it. Number 12, Olaf Conforti, clearly brought in to add a little bit extra to the midfield today. They were badly beaten in that area last week by South Hobart. Jakob Sklenage leading the line. He's scoring goals, but he's also missing a few more chances than perhaps they would have liked. And he'll want to be a little bit sharper today, as will number 17, Matthew Sanders. They've been creating a host of chances, the Zebras, but they need to start taking them. Iski Van Dorn played it right back last week. That was a bit of a surprise. I think we'll see him in attack this week. Sheku Kamara retains the spotting goals on the bench. The returning Jake French back from his futsal success. Lachlan Burt, a midfield option. Luke Biggin, a defensive replacement. Big Lukey Hughesloot dropped to the bench for this one. He'll be an impact player they can perhaps bring on if they're chasing a goal. And number 16, Matthew Pace. Your thoughts on the Zebras here, Webby?
Well, against Launceston City a couple of weeks back, I thought Jaden Hay was really strong out on the wing early. So if they can look to get him through on the ball early, they could get a couple of goals up, which would really pile the pressure on the Rangers.
Yeah, they really did make some inroads with him that day. It was a flip of switching Alex Turner across to him, which negated him a little bit, but geez, he was cutting them apart. He does play really well on this big pitch of KG5. The Zebras have played their best football here and at North Hobart, and they do enjoy the big pitch, and we'll see how Rangers deal with that. They're the team tasked with defeating them today. They've brought down a squad of 14 in goals. Number 1, Samuel Watman. I thought he was very impressive last week. The big Kiwi, he's a giant unit. He's got a real goalkeeper's build, and he's in pretty good form at the moment, Samuel Watman. He kept them in the Laka Seljuk Cup semi, perhaps longer than they may have warranted, and then last week was excellent, making a series of first half saves. Simon Lucas has been good when called upon this year. Pat Lanau-Atkinson, one of the best fullbacks in the competition, a staple of this lineup at right back. Daniel Christie has been a real find for them up top. He's scoring goals. He's got a lovely technique, and he's going to have to play a massive role with Federico Colliani now departing. He's left the Rangers. The Argentinian maestro, what a season he was having, but big shoes to fill. Christie going to be the man who's going to have to do it. Harry Townhouse are ever reliable in midfield. Mitchell Jones, I thought, was outstanding in the corresponding fixture in round 2. Scored a goal, drew a fair bit of claret too. He got absolutely walloped by Sheku Kamara on that day. But he was very good, and he's pacey type up top. You've got Nick Lanau-Atkinson, the talisman of this team, the star player, He's their most dangerous creative outlet, and the Zebras are going to have to put the clamps on of him. Alex Fulton, just the one Fulton in the starting lineup today. No Jesse, but Alex Fulton has been playing pretty well with number 14, William Humphrey, the centre-back pairing for the Rangers. Lino Shuley has been impressed with their work. Mitchell Roberts and Matthew Yude rounding out the Rangers lineup. The visitors on the bench have 3 players: Michael Monticchio, the American, Zingerberger, Tenzing Anderson, and Adhart and Gore, who they might throw on if they're chasing a goal. Yeah, do you think the Rangers are any sniff of causing the upset today, Daniel?
Oh, I do love a good upset, and I reckon the Rangers have definitely got it in them today. You've got your impact players on the bench like Nagore, and I can see him coming on and having a big impact later on in the game.
So the Rangers completing their warm-ups here, a bit of a break between the two games, allowing the players to fully warm up. We're about 3 or 4 minutes away from kick-off here as we have a look at the NPL Tas ladder as it stands. Just the one game left, and you can see there is a bit of a gap opening up between 5th and 6th. The Zebras could look to accentuate that a little bit more if they were to win today. The Rangers will be looking to close it, but the form line perhaps a little worrying for Zebras. Slightly misleading in a sense that against Launceston City they created a host of chances, just couldn't take them. Clarence, much the same. They were outstanding against Olympia. Last week against South Hobart, going down 5-2. Again, they created chances, but I don't think you could really make the argument they deserved anything out of it. South were certainly the better side on that day, so they need to be sharper in front of goal, that's for sure. The Rangers, they've been going pretty well, but a couple of tough fixtures in recent weeks has seen them brought undone. Losses to South Hobart and Olympia. In between that, they had the loss to Devonport in the Cup, so they've been playing the big guns of the competition in recent weeks, and it's seen a little dip in form. I think they were a little disappointed with the result against Olympia last week. A little slow to start, and that's something they can't afford to be today. And the refs today, Charles White with Big Poison Ivy and Toby Butler running the lines. And we know what Charles White is like as a referee. He's a disciplinarian. He takes no guff from anyone, and he'll quickly sort them out should any fireworks emerge. We'll see if there's any residual from that round 2 game. Sheku Kamara, of course, with a nasty blow on Jones that day. It's the commentary team there, myself and Daniel Webb. And on your debut, the first thing we need from you, Webby, a bit of a prediction for this one.
I'm going to go with the upset. I reckon
Bold.
2-1 Rangers.
2-1 to the Rangers. And that would be a result that would just dial up the pressure on the Zebras as if there isn't enough of that around the club already. And I think the Rangers might score a couple of goals as well, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep out the Zebras at the other end. I'm going to go a repeat of the round 2 scoreline. 4-2 for the Zebras is my tip. But I think this is going to be a really good game. I thought the Rangers were quite impressive in that first half when they played Zebras last time. They took it up to them, then they were almost asleep coming out of the sheds. Nick Lanau-Atkinson just slides in the line and the march out begins. So a few new faces for both sides since that round 2 game. And it's vitally important for both teams to get the 3 points. The Rangers to keep touch with the top 4, which was their stated goal. While the Zebras, if they're going to revive their stuttering season, simply must do the business today. Where do you think the keys to this one lie?
I think definitely the Zebras attack, like it's well documented that they have a powerful strike force with namely arguably the best team in the league, but they just can't seem to find them finishing touches in the final third. So it's really important for them today, if they want to get the 3 points, keep in that touch with the league title, they really need to get those goals. And for the Rangers, it's a big game for them as well, as you said, trying to keep in touch with the top 4. And your Atkinsons, they've got to really stand up today and show why they should be in the top 4.
There's the coin toss here. Nick Lanau-Atkinson and Jaden Hay, they may well be doing battle today, those two. This is going to be an intriguing affair. The Zebras have been a strange side this season. They're always entertained, though. I've not walked away from a Zebras game this year bored, that's for sure. Every time they play, there's been action. Hasn't always been to their success, but they certainly can't be accused of lacking the entertainment factor. I think that starts with the leadership. Gabriel Marcage, very much the showman A man under pressure though, and he knows he needs 3 points today. Charlie White standing in readiness. Beautiful day for football. Recapping yesterday's results, it was South Hobart 3-2 over the Kingborough Lions in the first game under lights at the Den. Devonport 3-1 over Olympia. Braden Mann with another hat-trick, just running away towards the golden boot. Here's Braden Mann. And obviously Launceston City still sitting pretty atop the table. They thumped Clarence 7-0. So will we see a tight one here today? Or will we see the goals flying as we did yesterday? Jakob Sklenage will certainly be hoping it's the latter as he prepares to kick us off here. The Czech Cobra kicks it back to Jaden Hay, and we are underway in this crunch game. Immediately sent forward by Hay, straight down the middle. No one made the run. And the Rangers will look now to build down the left. Lucas drives it into the middle. Scrapping away there was Muller. Humphrey coughed it up to Sklenage. In now to Colonel Sanders. Olaf Conforti. Looks it across to Paolo Marcage. Seems the Zebras lining up with a back three today, by the looks of it. So a bit of a tactical shift from Gabriel Marcage. A little bit unexpected. And Jaden Hay, one of those. So he's been shifted back into defence. He works it up towards Iski Van Dorn. Couldn't find him. Stretching was Jones. So try and work this one forward in the Christie direction. Hustling after it, Lanau Atkinson. But well done, Jaden Hay. Although got himself into a little bit of trouble against Christie. Extricates himself and gets the free kick. So a fast start in the opening minute here. Zebras can relieve the pressure. They're told to not try and steal a yard there. On top of that one, Charles White. Long ball in the Sklenage direction. He was bracketed by a pair of Rangers though. Conforti nods on to Muller. Sends it wide for an overlapping Ben Robinson. He goes further afield to Jimmy Ackley. Ackley has impressed in recent weeks. That's a good ball. Two at the near post. Couldn't direct it goalward. Van Dorn beat 4 Rangers to it and worked it back to Conforti. Robinson wanted the early release. It was a poor ball from Conforti straight to Nicolay. Paolo Marcage. Build from the back. He swings it looking for Iski Van Dorn, but Pat Lanau Atkinson was there. Jones slightly into the back there. And Pat Lanau Atkinson with the throw in. Townhouse. Staple of this lineup is Harry Townhauser. Lucas falls backwards. Lucas again into the middle. Harry Townhauser with plenty of space. He swings it wide. It's a pretty good ball too for Nick Lanau Atkinson. Nick LA driving inside of Robinson in coverage. Yeah, the Zebra's able to clean it up. Sklenage checks back inside. He's got Van Dorn bursting down the right. Goes inside to Sanders. Now Ackley. Patient build up here from the Zebras. Now they pull the trigger and it's offside against Iski Van Dorn, which probably cost them the opening goal of the game.
The Zebras have definitely started out the better of the two sides here. Schlenar's through ball there, that was, as you said, could have been the opening goal of the game.
Taylor was just lurking, ready to put it on, so seems like it is a back four from the Zebras. Just one of their fullbacks has been pushing on very high when they've had possession. Riley Dillon, stone cold, playing at left back. So it looks like he's at left back, and Robinson right back, and Marcage and Hay in the middle. Back for the Zebras. That was really sloppy there from Rangers. Just gifting possession to the opposition, and Ackley sends it looking for Sanders. It was cut out though. He's looking to drive the play is Geordie Muller. Out off of Lucas, and the throw in will go the Zebras' way. Big Ben with the throw to Sklenage. He was surrounded by Rangers. Smashed on out of there. Stone cold Riley Dillon. Back to Jaden Hay. There's Paolo Marcage has gone the number switch. Gone from number 10 to number 8. It still finds himself in defence. Here is the new number 10, Riley Dillon. Iski Van Dorn. Now Olaf Conforti. Zebras showing patience in the early going here. Jaden Hay. Conforti. Looking for Dillon, who's pushed on. They get the free kick. Iski Van Dorn took it quickly to try and get the opposition booked. And will he draw the cheese here? Or is he going to get off because he took it so obscenely quickly? He didn't have a chance to get back. He does just get the warning. Now Atkinson. Clever thinking though by the Zebras. So Iski Van Dorn standing over the dead ball. Ben Robinson, a likely target. He's the tallest player on the field. Won't pick him out with delivery like that though. Geordie Muller forces it forward. Should be dealt with though. He's, although not terribly convincingly, by Fulton. Now in down the line. Falls for Dillon. Back to Marcage. Now Robinson. Full pass from Robinson. Sloppy errors that, and there's been a little bit of that from both sides early on. Townhouse in the middle of KG5. Wanted an option further afield, instead goes to Patlinau Atkinson. He lofts it fairly aimlessly forward, and Shekamara can gather. He'll be hoping for a better day than his last outing against the Rangers, which ended prematurely. Here's Robinson. Muller. The Zebras monopolising possession early on, and Robinson sends it in for Colonel Sanders, trying to sneak in behind here. Shifts it to his left foot, now to Sklenarge. Lovely ball, tried to play the 1-2, Sanders. Couldn't pull it off. Now Ackley wide on the right, chips it back for Sanders. He crosses, brilliant save. Warburton Van Dorn on the follow-up, and Iski Van Dorn gets the Zebras' opening goal. They made hard work of it, but Iski Van Dorn gets things started for the Zebras.
That really started there with Massey Sanders. He played it out wide to Ackley. Ackley whipped it back in and just got it in the mixer, and then Iski Van Dorn with the finish. As you can see on the replay here, Ackley just whips it in. Van Dorn with the Colonel with a fantastic touch, and then on the pounce is Iski Van Dorn. Zebras up 1-0. The start they wanted.
Yeah, poor Sammy Waltman made a pretty good save on the first attempt there, and as for the Colonel's genius, I'm not sure he knew too much about it in the end. It worked out to perfection though. Lovely stuff from him, and the Zebras get the lead, and they had been dialing up the pressure early in this one. They take the lead with their first real clear chance of the match. And Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Jaden Hay. Marcage. In the middle for Muller. Geordie Muller. Works it to Jakob Sklenarge. Check striker with the outside of the boot, through ball. That was lovely, and it's teed up Sanders. Turns onto the trusty left. Chips it in to Sklenarge. Back to Ackley. Ackley tries to escape Fulton and then crosses in. Lovely ball and headed home by Sanders. 2-0 Zebras. It's the dream start here for the hosts. And no such problems with the finishing in the early going here, Webby.
No, they've definitely improved their finishing. Must have been out on the training track this week. Yet again, we saw that Sanders-Ackley combination with Ackley whipping the ball in. Sanders just finding his touch there and getting the Zebras 2-0 up. My prediction's already out the window.
You're cooked. I'll tell you what, I might have underestimated them with 4 here. They look in the mood today. They've copped a lot of heat in the last week, the Hobart Zebras. It's been a slightly defiant response, this. And they've scored 2 in a minute. 2 attacks, and that won't please Lino, surely. Not so easy for the Hobart Zebras. Can they respond? Jones the target of this one. He's just getting in the back. His opponent there. Flicked on by Sanders. Sklenage out to Iski Van Dorn. They're full of confidence here, the Zebras, and charging towards goal is Van Dorn. Worked it to Sklenage. Sklenage plays it off the defender for a corner.
They're definitely men with a mission here, the Zebras. They're looking to get on the attack early, get a few goals up, pile on that pressure, and they just keep coming.
Yeah, this is the Zebras we saw in the earlier rounds. They do like these bigger pitches. Gives these attackers so much room to work in. Iski Van Dorn swings the corner in. Off the head of Robinson. Comes down with Snow, not dealt with by Watman, and then Robinson tried to loop it back over the top of him. Didn't quite do so, and Watman holds firm. Rangers searching for a foothold in this game at the moment. They've just not been able to get their foot on the ball. The defence hasn't been able to handle the speed of which the Hobart Zebras are attacking with. It's been very impressive stuff. Like the Zebra side we've seen in the opening weeks, and the key difference though, they're actually taking their chances early on. With 2 good looks, converted them both.
Yeah, and it's been well covered that if the Zebras start to convert their chances, they will be the side that we all know they can be. And I think the Rangers are they're on the receiving end of this today. Hopefully they can find themselves back in the contest.
Yeah, they certainly need a goal for the game's sake. Can they conjure something here? Daniel Christie being broken up by Geordie Muller, who just keeps winning the ball back for his side. Iski Van Dorn. And Stone Cold Riley Dillon lofts it long, looking for Sklenage. Chested it down with a lovely control and looked to play in Van Dorn. Broken up by the Townhouse though. Doing nicely. Now Atkinson turned it over. Broken up. Van Dorn somehow escapes the clutches and then tries to finesse one from distance. And didn't get the contact he was after.
Yeah, a bit too much confidence there from the Zebras, I think.
Not quite getting enough of that one. Iski Van Dorn. That's the old finesse shot on FIFA when you need the drive. Not holding in the power bar long enough here was Iski Van Dorn. I agree, Ash, we don't need to see that again. Very tepid. As they whack this one full, but Geordie Muller is there to cut it out again. Just reads the play so intelligently, Muller. He's got a little more support in midfield today with Olaf Conforti being picked. Won't have to cover the entire pitch. As the Rangers try and build from the back here. Jones for Christie. And it'll be broken up though by Robinson. Zebras completely in the ascendancy through 12 minutes here. Jaden Hay. Back to Sheku Kamara. He goes across to Paolo Marcage. Turned it over as cutting that one out there was Roberts. Here's Muller. Just ran out of real estate there, Geordie Muller. Get a bit of possession here. The Rangers settle into the contest. I don't feel like they've it all settled as a spectacular effort is launched goal towards Sheku Kamara. That would have been goal of the year, but Kamara seemed to have it covered. I think it'll go down as the Rangers' first shot of the game, if not a scoring chance. Rangers close down the short option, so Kamara wants to go further afield to Sklenage. He flicks on. And now Atkinson stretching to keep it in, and Sklenage, he comes across. Here's the Townhouse. Oh, robbed of it by Geordie Muller. Only had Sanders ahead of him, who wasn't going to win a foot race there with Roberts. Didn't even try. He wanted the short pass played and trying to link up. That's not really Sanders' MO, storming in behind. He's the one you want on the end of the moves. James Ackley, who's probably earned a start with his cameos off the bench in the last couple of weeks. Really added something to this Zebras team when he's come on, so good to see him being rewarded with a starting berth today. On the fringes of the 11 for a little while now. Muller again, breaking up the play. Seems like every time Rangers go forward, they're running straight into Geordie Muller at the minute. Lucas to Roberts. And Jones. Switching of the play to Patlinau Atkinson, but he had his pocket picked by Iski Van Dorn, and the Calgary Flyers tearing down the wing. That was terrific covering defence from Alex Fulton, though. Thought about the quick throw. Riley Dillon goes to Sklenage. Just lets his balance a little. Townhauser combining through the middle there with Humphrey. And they get the free kick. Quarter of an hour played at KG5. Lucas. A little bit of space now. A chance perhaps for the shot and driven, but comfortably collected in the end there. Worst effort from Humphrey there, trying to make something happen for his side. Cut off by Lanau Atkinson. Chips it inside. Lovely pass. Springs the Townhouse. He works it back. This is promising build-up play from the Zebras. Nicolay weaving, and he's got room to shoot here. He works the 1-2, and he'll try and finish the move, but there were just too many Zebras back there boxing him out. Clever flick. Nodded on by Sklenage into the path of Van Dorn. Filled with confidence, wants to take him on. Oh, poor clearance from Fulton. Went straight to Sanders. Sanders through for an offside, Sklenage. Good save from Watman, but quite clearly strayed there, the Czech Cobra.
The Zebras' movement from defence to attack is really obvious here. They all flow up. The pace of their attackers, it's really dangerous to the causing problems to the Rangers' defence.
Yeah, they look really in sync, don't they? This attacking quartet. And there is some speed there. Especially Iski Van Dorn. He's catching the eye early on. Deployed back in an attacking role today after a brief stint at right back last week. Jones flicks it, but Robinson cleaned that up, works it to Ackley. Sklenage. 140. Tries to play in Van Dorn, who gets in behind of Lanau Atkinson. Iski Van Dorn cuts it back. A great chance here. Watman with a fantastic save. And the defence scrambles it clear. Well done, Sammy Watman. Stands up big for his team, but they are under siege at the moment.
We see Van Dorn's pace again down here, down the left-hand side. He just runs in, whips it in the mixer, and what a ball that is. Unlucky not to score there, the Zebras. Fantastic save by Watman.
I think he just tried to squeeze it between the legs there, the Colonel. Iski Van Dorn looming large over this contest. Patlinau Atkinson, one of the better fullbacks going around, but he just can't stick with him at the moment. Ackley. Kamara. Now Markash looks it in the Sklenage direction. Townhauser did well. Forward they go. Nick Lanau Atkinson. Slightly heavy touch on this occasion. Forced on the retreat. Now they drive forward. Lovely work from Nicolay there. Townhauser turned back inside. Probably would have been better off going wide where Jones is in a fair bit of space, but they'll get a free kick here.
Yeah, the Rangers are starting to link up a bit better up front. We've seen like a lot of flicks and stuff down in here that may not have paid off, but now they're passing it around in there and starting to look a bit more dangerous.
So Nick Lanau Atkinson stands over the dead ball, tees it up for Christie, who's going to lash it from distance. Blocked by Muller. Kamara scrambles across and prevents the corner. cold Riley Dillon. Back to Jaden Hay. Paolo Marcage. There's the direct option, tries to play Jakob Sklenage in, turning with it. Shifted it across to Ackley, who gets in behind Lucas. Jimmy Ackley slides it in. Sanders tees it back. Sklenage to an offside Sanders. And just overcomplicating it a little on that occasion.
Yeah, the Zebras just need to get them basics right again. They started out so well in the final third and they've dropped back.
That's a little too much confidence.
Yeah, too much confidence.
Yeah, certainly moving it very slickly, and they're going to win the ball back here through Dillon, who tears off towards goal. Sklenage makes a run. He chips inside. Sanders trying to play those first-time passes. He's the one there, just hitting his feet, and he's just laying it off to other attackers. And the Rangers aren't at all coping well. It's 2-0. Could be 3, and it might well be 3 soon if something doesn't change. Sklenage turning onto his left. Fulton for company. Back to Dillon. Dillon for Van Dorn. Muller from 40. Well done by the Rangers there just to force the Zebras back. Paolo Marcage shifted over to the right where Iski Van Dorn is lurking, and he's got him behind of now Atkinson. Controls it on the chest. There's one way then the other. Iski Van Dorn running his own race today. He's the Canadian, and he wins the corner here. Taken short to Conforti. Swings it into the back post. Just hit a little too much of it. Jaden Hay was lurking. Oh, then the nutmeg was good from Hay, recovering across. Here's Lucas, who just smashes it away. And a play. Zebras can reload again. Kills it in near post. Well away by Nicola now Atkinson. Geordie Muller volleys it, but it was always going wide there from Muller. And Samuel Watman looks up with his side. Really struggling in this one. Not at all like the first half in the round 2 game between the sides. The Rangers really had it their own way. It's been much more like the second half when Zebras were down to 10. As ever, they take the throw in quickly. Turning is the Colonel. Oh, wonderful ball back to Robinson, just in behind of Sklenage. Just misplaced that one, did Robinson, but Sanders, tremendous vision to find him.
Yeah, that's like the third or fourth time that we've seen Matthew Sanders play that ball, that little ball back, just to set up his teammate there. They're looking really dangerous, the Zebras.
That would have been a flat one in front of Sklenage. Could have been a third, instead just behind him from Robinson, but he really is linking up expertly, Colonel Sanders today. Missed his goal scoring chance, but he's done a lot of good work, and he'll do it again here and flicks it across for Jimmy Ackley to run onto. Good pace from Fulton though, and he puts it behind for another corner. Just need to find some way to break this siege at the moment. So that's exactly what it is. The Zebra is all over them. And another corner here for Conforti. Conforti plays it in over Sklenage's head. Jaden Hay to the top of the box. The effort directed goalward by Marcage, easily gathered by Sammy Watman. Long direct approach might bring them undone. The flag's been raised though against Christie. Nicola now Atkinson not overly happy. Demanding a little more from his teammates here. Ackley. It's Lucas there. Marcage. Kamara. With a 2-0 lead. The Zebras quite content just to knock it round the back here and make the Rangers chase it a little. Hey. Cut out by Patla now, Atkinson. Dillon to Sanders. Turning nicely is the Colonel. And across to Sklanage. He goes to Ackley, who's been prominent in this one. Just miscontrolled, but recovers it. Sklanage looks up. Sanders wanted the early release. Instead tried to pick out Riley Dillon, who's gone bombing onto an attacking position. He's certainly an attacking fullback, Riley Dillon. He spent more time in the opposition's box than his. Granted, that's been largely due to the flow of the game, but he's certainly got licence to get forwards, Riley. No pressure on Markage as he carries out and sends it down the line. Flicked on by Robinson, trying to get in behind the big right back. Also not afraid to join the attack.
Yeah, both the Zebras fullbacks really pushing up here, really condensing that space that the Rangers have to get the ball out of there.
They've just been unable to keep a hold of it any meaningful period of time. Throw in the Sanders direction over his head, volleyed straight up in the air by Fulton. Sanders gets across to try and get to the fall of it. A couple of missed time headers. Conforti got his head to it, but eventually it fell to Humphrey. And Lanau Atkinson chipped it forward for Christie. He spreads the play to Pat Lanau Atkinson. He works it inside for Christie. Nick Lanau Atkinson. From the Rangers, can anything come of it? This is sharp ball movement, but just miscontrolled at the crucial moment by Humphrey. Kamara can clear. Better signs there, but just breaking down around the box. But at least they're able to string a few balls together. It's been a problem for them. Jordan Muller's just been cutting everything off so far. Either that or they've just been knocking it long and immediately giving it up. Here's Nick Lanau Atkinson. Get inside of Ackley. Matthew Ute is told to get back so that the Townhouse can push further afield. That's a poor clearance. Gets away with it though. Sanders again the target man. All the way by Roberts. Jones sliding, can control it. Dillon, well, he was always just going to try and knock it past Patlanau Atkinson. He won the throw in. Throws it to the Townhouse, who swings a gorgeous looking ball over the top for Nick Lanau Atkinson to chase. He tracks it down and crosses. The Zebras were back and they repel. Now Atkinson will have another bite at the cherry here. Yeah, he's felled at the top of the box. Advantage allowed to continue, and in the end, the shot from 30 yards, I think I probably would have preferred a shot from a little closer. Better signs in the last 5 minutes, though, I think, from the Rangers here. Surely barking out the instructions from the sideline. Once more of a press being applied. Really been a lot of pressure on the Zebras' defence, carrying out from the back thus far. Sanders looks very much in the mood today, does the Colonel. Not to Sklanage, but well broken up by Patlanau Atkinson. Robinson nods it down. Lucas lofts it forward, straight to stone cold Riley Dillon. Heavy touch from the Townhouse, straight to the Townhouse, who lost it. Then a scything challenge in there from Christie. And that'll see him getting a talking to, bringing down the Czech Cobra.
A nice break-in play here for the Zebras as the Rangers started to get a bit of a move on, but the Zebras will be able to find themselves again here. Have a breather.
Long ball from Jaden Hay. Switches it up and finds Iski Van Dorn. Just in behind her, Robinson, who needs to track back to get it. And retreats further afield to Paolo Marcage. He chips it for Van Dorn.
Marcage definitely loves the ball in the air there. Like, most of the times he gets the ball, he's always looking for that ball up in the air, over the top.
Yeah, he's been trying to lift it over the Rangers defence. Sanders turning onto that left. Sklenage was there. Well done, Fulton. Townhauser couldn't get it away from Sanders. Flicks it through for Jimmy Ackley. Ackley back inside, and the Townhouse did well. And then shot just wide of the mark. And Sanders, well, his link-up play has been extraordinary. His finishing has just left a little to be desired thus far.
And he's finding the right positions again, but second time there, he's missed a chance on goal that probably could have helped the Zebras get up 3-0.
From 40. Now Sanders. Oh, again, it's wonderful link-up work. He's set Sklenage a task. Some serious wheels shown by Pat Lanau-Atkinson to get back, though. The centre-back beaten. That's off Conforti for a Rangers throw, but a little bit panicked at the back. It's due to the pressure the Zebras are putting them under. Turning it over a little too easily. Jaden Hay puts this one out of play. Here's Jones. Back for Pat Lanau-Atkinson. Jones tried to find the Townhouse, but again it was Geordie Muller. And Robinson puts it into touch. Nick Lanau-Atkinson trying to seize the initiative here. And he was fouled in the process, so a good spot for one of his free kicks.
Big opportunity for the Rangers here. Get them right back into the contest if they can manage to get something on this to get them in the back of the net.
Yeah, they've been absolutely battered in this first half an hour. If they could pull one back and get into, say, half-time at 2-1, that'd be a fantastic result as far as they're concerned. As Lanau-Atkinson swings it in, skied away by Sklenage. The Zebras have struggled defending set pieces this year, so it might be an area Rangers could exploit. Robinson to Kamara. Pulls out the pitching wedge. Sklenage made it work for him. Run by Conforti, but Fulton is there. Back to Watman. Lucas. Again, just broken up in the midfield. Sanders. Conforti. A direct option, probably needed to just send that one wide for his winger, Ackley. Moves long to Jones, flicks on to Christie, but I just don't know about the approach the Rangers are taking there. He had two short passing options, Humphrey and the Townhouse both lurking, and instead he chips it further afield and they lose possession moments later. Need to be a little more careful in possession, the Rangers. They're just gifting it away too easily, and we've seen what the Zebras can do on the counter-attack when they do turn it over. The transition play has been absolutely outstanding so far. Here's Ben Robinson. Links up with Sklenage, continues his run. He's got a couple to pick out in the box, but succeeded only in finding Watman. Here's the Townhouse. Charging towards goal, well broken up. Guess who?
The great wall of Muller's almost picking off every pass the Northern Rangers get here.
Been a fantastic performance from him. He's laying the foundation that their attackers are profiting from. So winning the ball back, the Rangers are trying to flow forwards and then finding themselves outnumbered the other way. Jaden Hay. Dillon. Today the Zebras not under a whole lot of pressure here from Rangers. As such, they're content to take their time with it. Here's Conforti. Kamara goes long, looking for Robinson. The fullback taking up a position on the wing there. Now Iski Van Dorney's first to the ball. Just tried to take it inside of his defender there. Unable to do so. Conforti. Muller for Ackley, makes him work for it on this occasion. Oh, lovely bit of skill there from Jimmy Ackley. Crossing towards the near post. Watman should collect, beaten to the ball by Sklenage, and the penalty's blown. Sam Watman in disbelief. But the penalty blown by Charles White, and a chance to make it 3-0 from the spot.
Massive call there by the referee. The Zebras definitely on the attack again here. We saw Iski, Van Dorn and Ackley have switched wings, and I found that a bit surprising, but it's obviously paying off here.
Keeping them guessing, so let's have a look at this one. It was swung in. Great work there to get the header on it from Sanders. Just creates the situation. And his gloves grabbed the trailing leg of Sklenage, and a good decision from the referee.
Yeah.
Just got the back standing leg and gives Matthew Sanders the chance from the spot.
Hopefully he's learnt from his past mistakes today's game, and he managed to bury this one in the back of the net.
He's had a couple of misses early on. One a good save from Watman, but the chance from the penalty spot for the Colonel to make it 3-0. Oh, perfectly taken spot kick. Watman at full extension, guessed right, but he still couldn't get near it. It's 3-0 Zebras, and they're threatening to run away with this one.
Yeah, Watman almost got a glove to that by the looks of things, but Matthew Sanders buried at home. Zebras up 3-0. Rangers going into half-time. Going to have a lot to work on in the second half.
And well done. Sanders essentially created that the penalty by just keeping it in play, just flicking that header on when the play looked dead. Something out of nothing from the Colonel. Draws the mistake from Watman, and they get a goal from it, so probably deserve to be stepping up to take that one, I think, the Colonel. Jaden Hay. Markage. Now Robinson. Still going Robinson. Sliding in was Linnell Atkinson. Good agricultural. Quickly taken. Ackley. Get past Pat Linnell Atkinson, and now perhaps something as Humphrey played it to Jones, who's lofted it forward, and Kamara will again be able to collect. The Zebras will be able to get right back on the ball here. And using the full width of this pitch. Every time they play out from the back, it's to someone on the touchline. And they work it from there. They're just pulling this Rangers defence from side to side, opening up the spaces and profiting. Very content to knock it round the back here. Here's Iski Van Dorn. Into the middle for Conforti. Well, he thought Muller was going to go and then just let it run. Now he gives it to Geordie Muller, immediately pressured by Humphrey. Lovely ball for Van Dorn and Sanders. It's Sanders back across the face. And Sklenage taps home. It's 4-0. It's all too easy for the Hobart Zebras. This is an exhibition.
This is showing what the Zebras can do. The attack. The big Colonel Sanders in there yet again. Slender finishing it off. It's a joy to watch, really.
It truly is. Time and space, and they are just picking them to pieces. Walking this one in, really. And the Rangers have had no answers, and this is why there's been a lot of talk about the Zebras team earlier. This is what they can do when everything clicks in attack, and they're converting their chances today. They've been very wasteful in previous weeks. Admittedly, the defence hasn't really had a whole lot to deal with, so we still don't know how they've fixed those problems at the back, if they have in fact fixed them. We won't find that out probably until they play another contender, but Certainly, this has been a commanding display, and they're a very different beast on this pitch and on the North Hobart pitches. The ball might fall for Sanders again. It could get even better still. Here's Jones. He just had absolutely no answers, the Rangers. They were stunned early and they've not responded well.
This is a real statement by the Zebras, telling the competition that they're still there, they're still knocking on the door, and even though they've had a bad few weeks, they're still up and about.
Indeed they are, and there's a lot of yelling and finger pointing going on out there from Rangers. I think they are just baying for this half-time whistle. The Zebras, they're happy to keep out there as long as possible. They're running up the score. Here's Robinson. Back to Conforti. Conforti swings it in. Looking for Sanders. And they keep it in. It falls for Ackley. Ackley for Stone Cold O'Reilly. Dillon tried to turn and wins another corner. So Conforti will leave this one for the Calgary Flyer. Can Iski Van Dorn extend the scoring further as he curls this one in? Markage leads Fulton to the ball, plays it back to Muller, who'll just swing it back in, couldn't get it over the head of Jones. Here's Riley Dillon, chips it up looking for Sklenage, but Watman will get there. Nicola now Atkinson dropping deeper and deeper, trying to will his side on. Trying to make something happen, but they just keep turning the ball over. They're playing possession. It's been really poor today, the Rangers. They're a side that's improved significantly this season, but they've not shown it today, and Sklenage is offside. As Markage continues to bark out the instructions. Fair to say, this has gone exactly how he would have drawn it up for pre-game.
Yeah, like he's still barking out instructions out there. It shows he wants more, and that's a good thing to see. The Zebras are not happy with 4-0. They want to be 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. And the Rangers are unlucky to be on the receiving end of this.
Not coping well at the moment. Dillon punches it long for Sanders. Ackley will get there. Ackley crosses back in. Townhouse is stretching, just got in there, almost lost it to Sklenage, and Townhouser to Jones. Well, now Atkinson, their key movers, trying to get involved here. And now Atkinson running down a blind alley and lost it to Geordie Muller. Sanders, his laconic style, just making things happen every time he gets on the ball. As Riley Dillon shielded that one nicely. Had great strength to keep a hold of the ball, then swings it. Well, they've got a couple in space down the right. Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn cuts back. Now Robinson. Back to Van Dorn. And now Atkinson defending him. He goes to the top of the box and swings it in. Sklenage can't quite get there. Watman just holding on. As this absolute shelling continues for Sammy Watman. Long from Fulton. Dillon breaks it up. Conforti wins it back again. All off Conforti. Muller. Conforti. I do like his combination with Muller in the middle for the Zebras. I reckon they might be onto a winner there. Here's Van Dorn. And Robinson. Robinson for Sklenage. All broken up by Humphrey. Muller with a rare mistouch and allows Jones to try it with the outside of the boot, but he played it straight to Jaden Hay. And this is what they've done really well today, the Zebras. They have just knocked it around the defence, waited patiently. Eventually Rangers have pushed up the field. They've finally bitten. It's taken them a while, and see they're just going to keep waiting. Eventually Rangers defence. The line's probably up about 3 metres higher than it was when this move started, and then they've got the space in behind to work with. You can see the defensive line's almost up on halfway now, and now they pull the trigger. And had Van Dorn won that flick on, Robinson would have been in acres of space. It's a good game plan from the Zebras, and Rangers are playing into it at the moment. And it's only going to get harder for them because given they're 4-0 down, I mean, you can't just sit there and let Zebras stroke the ball around the back all day.
Yeah, something's going to have to change at halftime. I'm sure Lino will have a good chat to the boys, and they really need to start just looking at what they're doing, a bit more composure on the ball, a bit more playing it around, and just holding on to possession just so they can get into the game, get the ball moving, and get back into this contest.
I think the second half might be about damage limitation, really, for the Rangers. What I've seen on this first 45, it'd be a pipe dream to think they're going to get back into this contest, but obviously that can't be the message the coach is sending at half-time. I agree with it. I don't think that will be what Lino Shirley's saying, but geez, I think they've just got to watch out that this doesn't end up being a cricket score. They're getting absolutely routed at the moment.
Well, we did see last night, South Hobart down 1-0 at halftime. They came out of the blocks fast, got 2 early goals there. So if the Rangers, they could still be in this. They've just got to fight hard, come out of the blocks early, really want to win the game, and you never know what could happen.
No, you've got a future in broadcasting, Webby, selling the contest even at 4-0. That's what we like. Yeah, right. It's going to take a big turnaround, a tactical tweak, and they're going to have to figure out a way to deal with this Zebras attack that has just absolutely monstered them. Long throw for Sklenage. They find a 5th before the break. Outside of the boot. Great ball to Muller, who's got time and space, and he uses it to find Sanders. Turns on the left. Back to Geordie Muller. Just miscontrolled. They don't clear the area, though. Iski Van Dorn. Jakob Sklenage. Back onto the left. He's brought down. Van Dorn looking for Sanders. Brings it down. And it's a handball blown against Sanders. That one seemed a little more obvious than Gordy Gerson's yesterday. Yeah, pretty blatant that one.
The Zebras almost had too many people in attack there. They're all wanting to get in on it, and they're all crowding the box there.
Well, they've absolutely pummeled the Northern Rangers in that first 45. They head into the sheds with a well-earned 4-0 lead. It could be even more. This has been fantastic stuff. The Rangers will badly need a response. They're going to need to get themselves sorted at the back. We'll have a look at the goal highlights. It started with a rebound there, falling to Iski Van Dorn. Sanders with the fancy back heel. Whether he meant it or not, it was absolutely beautiful. And that was really the story of the half, that move. Numbers inside the box, linking up and finding gaps. The cross then comes in. Matty Sanders meets it with his head. Holds home the first of his 2 first half goals. Missed a couple. He's also scored 2. Third one coming from the penalty spot. Sanders keeping a ball in that looked out. Watman with his glove catching the trailing leg of Jakob Sklenage. No hesitation in pointing to the spot from Charles White. That made it 3-0. And it got better still for the Zebras. As Rangers' first half nightmare continued. It was all too easy here. This is training drill stuff. They just walked it through, and tapping home with Sklenage getting in on the act. That makes it 4-0 at the break. That's how the game stands. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time and see if Rangers can find any way to get back into this contest. Because right now it is looking like a very convincing victory for Zebras.
Youth programs are a huge part of football, and they're the most important part of a club because that's the future of your club.
We have some very good teachers, not just coaches as well.
We do learn a lot of skill work.
They learn a lot of good life habits through soccer.
We have some amazing young talents. You know, you never know when a scout is at a game watching.
Football is thriving on the northwest coast of Tasmania and in the state as a whole.
The World Game is Tasmania's game.
Back for the second half here at KG5. Can the Northern Rangers mount an extraordinary comeback? So they've made one sub at half time.
Tenzing Anderson on, I believe.
So the Zinger Burger, the experienced customer, comes on. It might have been Humphrey who departed. Roberts. Maybe
Humphrey's out there still.
third. You'd, in fact. Well, third time asking. What do you think? Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. But the Rangers have made one switch. Will it be enough to change their fortunes in this game? Let's find out. Tenzing Anderson slotting in at centre back. But really, a dominant first half display from the Zebras. And they've got a pretty firm grasp on this game. It would take a fairly extraordinary fight back. You see the intent to press out of the sheds here from the Rangers. Glenage turns. Played it on nicely for Ackley. Immediately pressured now Atkinson. Just trying to lift his side a little. Gets a little overly physical.
Yeah, there's a little bit of chatter down here between the two of them before, and just letting him know he's there.
Making his presence known. Nick now Atkinson. He's on Lofkin 40. Paolo Marcage. Plenty of time at the back and across to Jaden Hay. Let's see if they go with the same tact as I think he's in at the first half. Just knock it around the back till the Rangers get sucked upfield. Marcage back to Kamara. Now they'll push up because they've forced him all the way back to the keeper. Jaden Hay to Kamara. This is better stuff from the Rangers dealing with it, but Zebras have done really well to keep a hold of the ball. Now Iski Van Dorn turns into the middle for Geordie Muller. Muller goes in behind of Robinson. Just holds up the counter momentarily. Now he charges forward. Big Ben. Ships it to the top of the box where Fulton steers it away. Stone cold Riley Dillon with some space to cross. He's looking for Sanders. Fulton steering it away from him, and they'll keep it in well here through Patla now Atkinson. As far as Conforti. Is it between he and Dillon? Then Muller forward for Sanders. Tried to thread the eye of the needle again. He did that a number of times in the first half. Just unlocked this Rangers defence. Can they build something back the other way? Fulton. Lofting it high. Robinson. Glenage now. It's not to go to Muller. Instead he'll send it wide for Jimmy Ackley. Impressed with his game. Robinson back to Marcage, and the Zebras just going to keep knocking the ball around. An exercise in ball control this. Jaden Hay. They're in no rush whatsoever. Well, now Atkinson tries to break this one up, does so. Still be a Zebras throw in though. Glenage. Glenage trying to work it down the line. Misplaced pass for Muller, maybe a chance now for Christie. Now Atkinson, Townhauser. Now Atkinson Ackley still going at each other down there. Plenty of banter between those two. Conforti slides over the line there. Plenty of words being exchanged between the pair. Here's Sanders. Townhauser. Well, now Atkinson.
Positive signs from the Rangers here early on. They're holding possession a little bit more. They're not afraid to give it to the Zebras. Unlucky with a couple of mistakes there.
Yeah, you've put the moz on them there, Webby. Turns it straight over. You're right, they've looked better in the first few minutes of the half, although Zebras They're quite content just to knock this round, soak up the time. Firm command of the game. You don't need to take any undue risks. Unfortunately, it might lead to some rather dull viewing in the second half, I reckon, if they just keep knocking it around the back like this, and Rangers are content just to sit off, and it seems they're not going to try and chase the game too hard.
Yeah, Markaj and Jaden Hay there, just some great passing. Just along the back there. We could be watching a lot of that in the second half. So,
for fans of passing around the back, you're in for a treat. Here's Iski Van Dorn. Back to Sklenage. This is more like it. Looks it in, but away by Jones. And just dropping plenty of bodies behind the ball. And the Zebras. Rinse and repeat. Robinson. Ackley just kept it in. Lucas is appealing, but it didn't go out.
Lenau Atkinson down on the left-hand side here. He's pulled up a bit short there. He's limping around. Might be a little niggle there.
Good spot as Sklenage gives chase, and that one steered away by Tenzig Anderson. But yes, Lenau Atkinson, you can see at the bottom of your screen there, looking in a little bit of trouble. So Rangers' day could go from bad to worse here if their star player was to cop an injury. Meanwhile, the corner opportunity for Sklenage. They take it short. Iski Van Dorn. Ackley. Back to Van Dorn. Finally accelerates. Really struggling to find a player that's got out of a canter in this first 5 minutes of the second half. Very patient, probing stuff from the Zebras, or alternatively just knocking it around the back. And attacking with the speed we saw in the first half. Rangers not really allowing them to. Here's Geordie Muller. Every single player is in the final third of the pitch at the moment, and taking a shy from distance is Riley Dillon. Easily gathered by Watman. Long and strong they go. The punt in the direction of Jones. Works it back for the Townhouse. Nods it down for Christie. Been quiet today, Christie. Hasn't had the service, but he's a game breaker, as is this man, Lenau Atkinson. Went looking for the Townhouse. Straight onto the chest of Jaden Hay, who's been good back in defence today. Ackley. Sklenage. Played it behind of Van Dorn. Did him no favours there, the Canadian. Here's Fulton. Heavy pass, but they keep it in. Townhouse of the target. Down the line for Jones, a willing runner. Well done by Jaden Hay, though, just outpoints him. It'll be a goal kick. Sting really gone out of this one, Daniel.
Yeah, it's gone from being like all attack, all goals, to just a bit of a quiet kickabout. The Rangers are starting to get more involved in the game, though, which is good to see. And hopefully they can start piling on the pressure with the Zebras and hand it to them in the second half.
Here's Conforti to Dillon. Now Jaden Hay switches it up for Robinson. Used every inch of his big frame there.
Even the Zebras now are happy to let the Rangers hold on to the ball a bit. They're not too fussed about winning it back quickly.
So Townhouse flicks on. Plenty of Zebras back to deal with it, and it falls to the feet of Stone Cold Riley Dillon, who coughed it up, and now perhaps a chance for Townhauser. Look at all the Zebras' bodies back though, and it was Townhauser fighting alone really there. It'll be a pretty tough battle to win. So they'll try and make something work through Lucas down the left. Well, now Atkinson, the Nick Variety. So this one cut out there. And now Atkinson gets back on the ball. Played forward by Dillon. All the way back to Fulton. No real tempo to this game at the moment. It's a pretty furiously paced opening for the most part, but so in the second half. Ackley now to Sklenage. Got it to Conforti. Conforti switches it up to Sanders. Sanders left it for Van Dorn, but it was just a fraction behind him. Well won back by Olaf Conforti. Seizing his starting opportunity. He played a pretty clever ball, but Sanders hadn't made that run. He'd gone the opposite way, unfortunately, for him. And he made that run. Might just have played him in. Watman smashes this one towards Townhouser. Spills out the back for Jones. He flicks on. Away by Markage. Across to deal with it is Fulton. Just been pointed out to me. How about the shin pads on the Zingerberger in defence there? He's even wearing shin pads.
They must be pretty small, like ankle pads on.
I've seen bigger shin pads in futsal games than that. It's an extraordinary setup. Clearly no regard for his shins.
Big centre back there.
Robinson charges forward, drops it off for Sanders. He turns onto the trusty left. Heavy touch from Sklenage, went straight to Lanau Atkinson. He coughed it straight back up. Sklenage doing some defensive work, and it spills to Robinson. Back to Markage. Muller. Robinson. Sanders wants it. He heads there. He chests it down and flicks it first time. And just pulled back there. It was Jakob Sklenage. A grab of the arm. That'll be a slice of cheese there. Have a look at it. Yeah, no doubt. The foul on that occasion. Roberts on to infringe. And a very good position this for a free kick.
Yeah, and get Van Dorn, Confiti's over there as well. Get one of them on this ball and it might just find itself in the back of the net.
He favours the left foot of Olaf Conforti. Nisky Van Dorn is looming. Might even be a little too close to the box, so it's going to be very tough to get it up and over the wall. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw maybe the low drive pulled out. Now Van Dorn's just going to set himself up in the wall. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes low towards Van Dorn. Instead, he curls it to absolute perfection. Well, it wasn't too close at all. Olaf Conforti with a sublime goal. And it's 5-0 Zebras. And finally, this second half comes to life with a moment of inspiration.
Well, that was just a fantastic shot there by Olaf Conforti. Just curled it right into the top corner there, and Watman was just left to watch it, really.
Absolutely nothing he could do. That is as pure a strike as you will see from Olaf Conforti. He has made the most of his starting opportunity today. And I don't think he'll be going anywhere anytime soon, given the way this game has played out. And they've looked a lot better with just someone back there helping Geordie Muller out. And we've seen a brilliant game from Muller as a result of perhaps him not having to do absolutely everything, which means he can do what he does best.
The pace has picked up in the game a bit more now.
As it has, as a first-time hit from Van Dorn, is rising over the top. Maybe that goal will just ignite the Zebras and see them chase after a few more. Look at Van Dorn smashing it over the top. 5-0. Been a good response. Fair to say they needed one, the Zebras, after some indifferent form in recent weeks. They have been absolutely lights out this afternoon. Here's Nick Lanau Atkinson. Robinson close to him, into the middle. They go for Humphrey. Fulton really just needed to work that one to Pat Lanau Atkinson. Sent it way out ahead of him. Unfortunately, being the story of the day for Rangers going forwards. A real flow to their movement. Here's Stone Cold Riley Dillon charging down the left. Lays it across Whiskey Van Dorn. Plays it out off Linnell Atkinson. Throw in for Sanders. On the left, he manufactures a cross. Only Ackley back there. Not really well dealt with, but they'll play their way out in the end, the Rangers. Christie. First time pass to Jones. And Pat Linnell Atkinson. And here's the Zingerberger. Down the line they go. Geordie Muller breaking up the play once again. He plays it back to Markage. They'll swing it across to Jaden Hay. I love the numbers on the amount of times we've seen a Hay pass to Markage or vice versa. It would be getting up there, I'd imagine.
And there we have it again. Just no pressure on them. They can just pass it freely between the two of them. Plenty of composure back there.
Markage to Sanders. Roberts did well just to hold him up, but in came Muller. Crisp pass to Ackley. Back they go again. Markage to Hay. 40. Van Dorn. Turning inside, Iski Van Dorn. Just showed a little bit too much of it in the midfield, and then a foul pretty blatant there on William Humphrey. Anderson, diagonal ball. Lucas finding with Ackley for it. Linnell Atkinson comes in and puts a nice little block on Ackley. Punch down the line. All the way back to Sammy Watman. Townhouse of the target, couldn't quite find him. Hay steers it to Van Dorn, coughed it up to Pat Linnell Atkinson. Pat Linnell Atkinson, broken up by Conforti. Back to Riley Dillon. Sliding in, Conforti, couldn't get round. Humphrey B. Bear though, do it well. Townhouse up. Nick Linnell Atkinson had one thought on his mind, and that was to pull the trigger. And it's wide of the mark.
His eyes lit up there, Linnell Atkinson. He wanted that goal, but it's unlucky to hit it wide.
So you have another look at this set-piece wizardry from Olaf Conforti. There's a delightful hit. Sammy Watman at full extension. There's nothing he can do. That is perfection from Olaf Conforti. Came across from South Hobart in search of first-team opportunities. And boy, has he seized it.
Kamara's getting into the game a bit here. He's had a few more touches than he saw in the first half. The Zebras keeper.
Yet to make a save. Shaq Kamara has been a virtual spectator. As I said, didn't do much at all in the first half. And apart from knocking a few passes, has not been called into action yet. Here's Ben Robinson charging down the right. Jumps inside. Support came though. From Lucas. Throw into the box for Van Dorn. Fulton nods it behind for another corner. It'll be Hobart Zebras' 8th corner in the contest. Sklanage. Van Dorn, the clearance was straight into Jakob Sklanage and deflects behind for a goal kick. A pretty commanding display this. From Hobart Zebras side, looking to climb their way back up the table. Win today would see them leap above Olympia after their loss yesterday and into 4th place.
The gap would really open up between there's top 5 or top 4 and the Northern Rangers, Kimber and Clarence down the bottom.
does look like we've got a bit of a 5-3 split. You're quite right. 6-point gap between Olympia and Rangers in 5th and 6th. And the Zebras.
It's not over yet. You never know. Rangers.
Nah, this one's done. Yeah, the interest, I think, if can the Colonel grab his hat-trick, how many can they score? Certainly Rangers might a consolation effort, but I think they're going to slot 6. They had a couple of shots all day. It's been pure domination this from the Hobart Zebras, and they'll look to pull their way back up the table. Another big 3 points for them today. They needed it as Marquage gets into a little trouble. His opposite number, Christie, causing him a few problems. And then Jaden Hay just absolutely belts it long down the line for the run of Riley Dillon. Couldn't find him, and a substitution looks to be in the offing now. So action on the Zebras bench.
Ackley coming off here. Luke Biggin coming on for the Zebras. Great game has James Ackley.
Yeah, I've enjoyed his work, and Biggin is a defender, so that might release Jaden Hay further up the field, or Riley Dillon. Expect him to slot in left side of defence as he has, but the Zebras get the win here. They move back to 16 points, and for all problems they've had this season, they're only going to be a point behind South Hobart as we reach the 2-week break for the Lacquer Cup final, and most people still have them as firm contenders as Hay crosses this one to the back post. Float out of play, so look, they've certainly got their problems. They need to sort it out at the back. We're not going to know if they've made the right adjustments till they face a slightly sterner test, but really they're still in the title race if they're good enough. They can keep out the better sides. We'll wait and see, but this is a team that went up to Devonport and beat them there. They've beaten South Hobart once. They've been wildly fluctuating in performance, but their best, as we've seen today, remains very, very good as Townhouse is dispossessed by the outstanding Conforti. Sklanage does it nicely to link up with Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn chips a beautiful ball looking for Sanders. Fulton did really well to stretch back and get there. Now Jaden Hay, who's been released up the field, plays it to Iski Van Dorn. And Dorn, gets the better of Lucas. Lucas recovers. And then Dorn is just held up. Now on the left, he strikes it in towards Sklanage. Turns on the right across the face of goal. Sanders couldn't quite get there to steer it home. And flashed across the face.
Here's a look at this beautiful nutmeg down here again. Iski Van Dorn. He does well to get back the Rangers defender there, but still couldn't quite finish it off there, Matthew Sanders.
Dillon just showing a little bit too much of it there to Patlinau Atkinson. Fairly flat old second half this one as Sklanage has felled. Now Jones on this occasion. Jordy Muller still keen to keep the tempo going though and plays a 1-2 with Sanders. Looks up for the next man to pass to. It was Dillon who left it behind. Christie. Heavy touch to control and then spinning through traffic was Dillon. Dillon to Sklanage. Now Conforti. Cut out down there by Lucas to Robinson. Back to Olaf Conforti. Paolo Marquage. Shek Kamara getting a rare involvement. Making sure he hasn't frozen over back there. You won't have too many easier games than this, I wouldn't have thought, Shek Kamara. As Rangers making no real effort to hustle and close down here, and Zebras are, well, all right then. We'll just keep on doing this.
Yeah, the Zebras are happy now just to knock it around, do what they want to do.
Someone's knocked forward. And a badly needed result, this one, for Hobart Zebras to get their season back on track. Goals flowing the confidence up again. They'll head into the break next week with the belief they can make a real assault on the league in the second half of the season. This next Monday, got the Lacka Seljet Cup final. Devonport Strikers and South Hobart should be an absolute cracker. Queen's Birthday Monday at this ground. Kicking off at 2 p.m. before it. Women's Statewide Cup final. Bit of a surprise matchup in that one with Kingborough taking on Taroona. We'll have all of that brought to you live streamed, as well as the under-20s on the Friday night as Townhauser sends this one across to Lucas. Lucas kills it in near post, and Sheikh Kamara with a bit of catching practice.
Kamara just taking his time here. He's got plenty of time. No real press from the Rangers. Robinson out here on the wing as well. Plenty of time. And 40 opens it up well. Looks over to the left-hand side. Jaden Hay pushing forward now. Still no real press from the Rangers here.
Got two teams who I think are just baying for the final whistle, to be honest. 20 minutes away. And I think both teams would be quite happy to call it now. Zebras have got what they needed out of the match. And Rangers, I think they just want to get on the bus and head back up the highway.
Yeah, disappointing from the Rangers today. I really hoped that they'd be pushing it to Zebras and maybe even getting the 3 points, but it is what it is, I suppose. The Zebras have a great performance here, so when they're on their day, they're showing what they can do.
Yeah, we've probably seen the very best of the Zebras and possibly the worst of Rangers. Is rolling on through here is Stone Cold Riley Dillon. It went out of play though before he could find anyone to apply a finishing touch. But Rangers, look, they had a good start to the season. A little bit of a down patch now, but they've got 2 weeks to go to work on things, and then I believe their next game is the big one for them, the Northern Derby against Launceston City, which last time they took a point off a City, one of only 2 teams who've managed to do that this year. It'll be a good game as a free kick blown here in their favour, and probably could have let the advantage go there, I feel. But look, they've got to pick themselves back up for that City game. So it's a huge match for them.
Huge match for both sides there. City looking to consolidate their spot at the top of the table, and Rangers looking to find their season back on track.
Well, now Atkinson chips a lovely ball through for Townhauser, who's offside. Kamara made a good sharp stop anyway. Flag was straight up.
Substitute here for the Rangers with Nagor coming on. And Mitchell Jones coming off.
He's replaced by Adhar Ngor. If he scores, we might get some fireworks because he loves a goal celebration. There's Adhar Ngor. Which I suspect would please my colleague Paul Hunter, who's been calling for a little more in the celebration department. And he's got a point. Not really seen the goals fully celebrated as we'd like this season at times. But take a lesson from Jasmine Gorey in the Super League yesterday. Just, fair to say she enjoyed that match winner. Took off from scoring the goal, ran all the way back to halfway at top speed. And got absolutely donuts from the person in the crowd she was running to. But would admire the intent. Check out that video on the FFT Facebook page. A bit of a laugh, but a very good goal. A very good goal scorer. A big win for Ulverston there. They're 6 points clear in the Super League now and looking very good to take that title. Launceston City stunned by Clarence yesterday. Big upset there. So open things up for Ulverston on the women's side of things. In the men's side, City continuing to hold firm atop the table as Jaden Hay drives this one in. And no one had gambled and made the run to the back post. The finishing touch. We saw Devonport do this a couple of times yesterday. Just hit those balls to the back post where Braden Mann inevitably bobbed up to score 2. And then his third, a very decisive strike.
He'll be important in the cup final next weekend. Braden Mann coming off a hat-trick. There'll be a high expectation for him to push against his former side, South Hobart, and help get Devonport across the line. As Muller breaks here.
Muller with a good-looking Baldock 40. Well cut out, though, in the Rangers' defence. Braden Mann looking to get back to the FFA Cup. He's been there 3 times. And a couple of times to South Hobart. And with Devonport and Sanders at the top of the box, trying to find some space for himself. But it's closed down and then cops the shoulder of that Aaron Gore. It's a fierce challenge. Well, now Atkinson leads the counter-attack out, and this is looking promising for Rangers. Can they make something happen? Down the right, Christie's in plenty of space in the box. But Patler now Atkinson tried to take on Stone Cold Riley Dillon, who shut that one down. Fulton gives it back. Humphrey chipping it straight to Biggin. He gave it to Muller. Now Dillon again. Lovely ball from Stone Cold Riley Dillon down for Jaden Hay, who runs at the defence. Plays it to Sanders, who was just looking to pull that move again with the back heel. Very nicely read on that occasion, and Rangers go forward. So now Atkinson, it's just a bit sloppy. 15 minutes remaining in this one. But, it should be a great cup final day out here next weekend. Really looking forward as we have a look at the shoulder from Gore. Both players going the ball, and he's a strong physical presence, Big Gore. Nothing untoward or nothing wrong at all with the challenge. Sanders definitely felt it as Robinson bounds forward, plays a lovely ball in for Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn got a little nudge and then crossed it in, steered away by Patler now Atkinson. And hold firm, trying to deny a 6th goal. Muller to Dillon, Biggin. Now markage, a little bit of pressure being applied on the Zebras' defence, which has been a rarity in this half. Sanders draws the free kick, which he wants to take quickly, and he doesn't mess about. Plays it in for Jaden Hay. Well done, Sam Watman. Got across, read the free kick. And got there before Hay. Looks like Michael Monticchio set to be injected into this game, so that's what I like to see with 15 minutes to go. Might spark things up a little. Big Tiki's presence. As the other substitute, Adha Gore, tries to get in behind a Dillon. Find Townhouser with the pass. It was broken up by Muller. Jeez, he's been good today, Geordie Muller. Might be 5-0, but the screening midfielder has been outstanding. That's a foul by Hay. And the substitution will be made. So Big Tiki comes on for. Looks like Fulton going to be replaced.
Zebra sub here as well. Is Van Dorn coming off, I believe?
Fantastic performance. Matthew Pace. He's the man. Should come on for him. Some pace for Van Dorn. The free kick is swung in. Kamara's got to catch this one, and he does so.
Robertson finding space again out here on the right-hand side.
Nice turn of speed this, perhaps making something happen is Roberts. Drives to the byline, gets his cross in, but that's out of play. The end product not there. Good intent from Roberts on that occasion though. Central defender bounding forwards. in very few chances in this second half. Certainly an open play. 40 delivering the goal with a wonderful free kick, but there have been very few shots in this second half. As in Gore did well initially and then unfortunately slid on top of the ball. Biggin to Kamara.
The Rangers are applying more pressure on in the final third here. Zebras are panicking a little bit, but there's nothing to panic about. They're 5-0 up.
Yeah, the game firmly within their keeping, but they have at least, for the spectacle's sake, started applying a little pressure rather than letting them just knock it around the back as the Zebras now break into attack. The substitute Matthew Pace looking to make an immediate impact. Coming flying across in defence was Lucas, who I was arguing for a minute. Yeah, it will be, in fact, a goal kick. Lucas' reaction there suggests it might have been a corner. Just the goal kick with tender play, but not one of the better second halves you'll see this one. The greatest of spectacles. The Zebras did the business in the first half, and hopefully Olaf Conforti providing the highlight with that wonderful free kick of his in the second half. Dreary viewing aside from that as Muller works it down to Conforti, who shows his playmaking skills now with a wonderful pass for Jaden Hay. Went the first time pass, then looks to take on his marker. Jaden Hay crosses for Sanders. There's the hat-trick. 6-0. That's a hat-trick for Matty Sanders. And a fantastic performance from the Colonel this afternoon.
Yeah, that goal started with that ball from Conforti from the middle. Hay did well out there to get that ball inside. Then Matty Sanders gets his hat-trick. What can you say? He's been up and about all day today and gets his third, well deserved. So we see here again. Straight onto the head, well rised. Watman just left to watch. Ball hits the back of the net.
He gets his third of the day. There's some more action on the bench here.
Jaden Hay appears to be coming off. Lachlan Burt coming on for the Zebras. Hay with a big involvement in that last goal there.
So nice reception from the spectators there, Jaden Hay, and yeah, finishes his day with an assist. Not a bad last touch of the day, really.
Something to talk about on the way home.
6-0. It's been a very, very decisive performance today from the Zebras. Colonel Sanders has been very much at the heart of it. Scored 3, plenty of involvement in all their attacking moves. Hasn't even been his finishing that's been the high point of his game today. It's been the link-up play. Eye-catching is a free kick. A promising spot here for Rangers.
Bit of slice of cheese there for Ben Robinson as well for his tackle on Lucas.
So Matty Sanders matching Braden Mann, who'd stolen a bit of a march in the Golden Boot race, jumping up to 15 yesterday. Sanders with 3 today, though, to just keep within touch. I think that takes him up to 11 for the year. And Tyler Fisher, I think, scored a couple, so he'd be up there as well. They're the 3 league contenders. Braden Mann on 15, having himself some sort of season. And Gabriel Markash still screaming out the instructions here. Relentless attitude. He does not want this clean sheet blemished. It's Nick L.A. The dead ball. He kills it in. Play by Sklenage. And Pace moves it forward. Cut off at the back though. Oh, showed a lot of it there. Did Humphrey to Riley Dillon. Well, Roberts, I apologise. Centre back getting into a little bit of trouble, but on the throw, and now he's pulled up a little bit proppy. A cramp, I think. Back to his feet, and the Zebras might take advantage here with the centre defender down and stretching out the cramp. Maybe a chance for the Zebras to profit from this situation. Foul. Comes at a good time for Rangers just to break up the play a little. Roberts really struggling on the far touchline at the moment. Wobbling around. This one's curled in towards Sanders. Sklanage also there, but Monticchio cleared the area. His pass went straight to Robinson, however. Muller. Sklanage v Monticchio, the Czech and the American there. This will go, so Watman can take this one. I'm sure he has a lot of need for the hat at this stage of the game now. Making it a bit dull.
Gabriel with a good touchdown there now from the coach.
Silky. So Lucas goes inside. There's Muller. We got fouled there, Geordie Muller. Kept going anyway. Worked it to pace. Muller. Markage away to Biggin. And then Gore applying that pressure, and they've got a turnover here to pounce upon. Harry Townhauser. Ball down the line is good for Linnell Atkinson. He crosses back. It's Nick Linnell Atkinson. It's wide of the mark. It's their best chance of the day, and it goes begging.
I thought that one was going to hit the back of the net there. You can see Townhauser there. Finds his runner. Whips it in. Plays it back, and so close there. Kamara could have had to produce the save.
It's their best moment, really, of probably the game, in truth, from Rangers. That game, because they have started pressuring these defenders a little bit. Allowing them just to knock the ball around their own leisurely pace. Perhaps needed to come a little earlier, though, as this one's run back in the middle, and he'll think about the shot from distance. Instead leaves it for Christie.
To go LA on the right.
He goes there. Here is Linnell Atkinson. He'll want to get back on the left foot. Does so. Curls it. Blocked by Ngor. And then whisked away by Markage. And that's broken up as Pat Linnell Atkinson tried to get him behind. And Sklanage works it to Sanders. And defended on that occasion there.
We just saw two good examples of what the Rangers could have been doing there. They're pressuring the Zebras defence. Got a couple of turnovers. Got a couple of attacks on goal. Starting to look a bit dangerous here, but it's a bit too little too late, unfortunately.
So a long searching ball for Dillon, dealt with by Pat Linnell Atkinson. Here's stone cold Riley Dillon. He'd love a goal. He might go. It's still Riley Dillon. Just past the post. A good run. Plenty of power on the shot, but just lacked the direction. Chances starting to come late. There's a few tired bodies, leaving a little more room for the attackers to work in as Christie tries to go the nutmeg and didn't get past Robinson. Had a good ball to Sklanage. Pace. Chinks inside of Humphrey. Over to Muller. Either be him or Sanders for man of the match in my book today. They've both been outstanding. So that'll be a free kick, and now I can smash this away. Who would you be giving the votes to today, Daniel, if you had to give the 3-2-1?
Geordie Muller, defensive midfield sort of area. He's been just stopping every time the Rangers got the ball, especially in that first half. They just ran straight into him. He was integral in getting the ball back up to the top, which then saw Matthew Sanders be able to lay it off or obviously kick a goal himself with his hat trick. So definitely one of them two would be my man in the match.
I think we're in agreement on that one. We're going to go 3-2-1. Might have to slide either Van Dorn or Conforti. So many to pick from as the free kick is played in. Away they go. It's been a very complete performance from the Hobart Zebras today. They've controlled this one from the outset. They've not looked troubled. And they have finally got it clicking in the final third again, which has been their problem in recent weeks. At Hoare and Gore. Ooh, some nice movement here from Big and Gore, and then just overhit the pass. Well, now Atkinson not going to be able to track that one down. Oh, Kamara channeling Carrius there, gets himself into trouble. And Gore. Now Townhauser. For Elan now Atkinson, but Kamara redeems himself by getting to it. He got himself into all sorts of trouble at the back there. He's almost able to steal one late. Been a gift. Sanders can't track this one down. Here's Roberts. He's still a willing runner. In fact, the centre-back's gone marauding forwards here. He might be on the end of this move. Instead, now Atkinson the target. Spills out the back for Ngor. And Ngor battling away. Well done, Luke Biggin. Won the duel. And puts it out of play. And now Atkinson. Chipped it past a defender, then got on the end of it, working back in defence. Still hustling away was Muller. As we tick into stoppage time now. 2 minutes away from full time.
Yeah, big Mitchell Roberts has gone for a couple of nice runs down the middle there. From centre back, Zebras giving him the space to be able to do so. Can he get his head on this one?
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
Almost does out the back. The big zinger burger there. Thought he does well. Rangers applying some good press here, round out the match.
Real close look at those shin pads now as he runs near us on the touchline. Not convinced he's wearing any. Here's Townhauser. Suspicions of handball. Flicks it on. Overlapping was Lucas. Crossing dangerously. They had men lining up at the back post, but he couldn't find any of three of them. Here's Nicola now Atkinson. He'll shape to shoot on the left here. He hits it. And getting up to get his head on it was Big Ben Robinson. Rangers pushing late for a consolation goal. Zebras have taken the foot off the gas a little, I think. And Rangers having their best spell of the game here. Crossed in to the back post. That's a thumping header. Just wide of the mark. He's gone down clutching his knee too. Big Roberts. He's all right. Just the cramp again.
Towering over everyone there at the back post. Really unlucky not to find the back of the net and just landing a bit awkwardly there, I believe.
Couldn't quite get the direction on that one. We get the centre back. There it is, full time at KG5. The Hobart Zebras bounce back in style. A thumping 6-0 victory over the Northern Rangers. A game they controlled from start to finish. Very much back to their best on the home confines of KG5. They love playing on the bigger pitches, the Zebras, and they gave a perfect demonstration of why today. They picked and pulled apart the Northern Rangers, and fully deserving of their 6-0 victory. And after a pretty tough week or two there for Gabriel Marcage, it'll be all smiles for them as we take a last look at the goals from today. Van Dorn getting them started there. So, from this result today, Daniel, do we think the Zebras are back in the title race?
It's hard to say. They started out this season really well, but then they've dropped off a bit. And one really good result here. It could see them clicking back into gear, but there is 2 weeks off now, as you said before. So if they can keep this form going, they'll definitely be challenging for the title. But with South Hobart, Devonport, Launceston City, Olympia, all your big name clubs, they're all pushing for those top 4 spots. Definitely going to be a challenging season for the Zebras.
Yeah, they've left themselves some work to do, but they are still just 1 point behind South Hobart, and they're widely considered, I think by many, to be the team that's going to win, even though it's City leading the way at the moment. So I don't think you can be writing them off just yet. They remind us today of what they can do, but questions still remain over that defence. Those answers will come in the coming weeks, but they needed a response today. They issued one full time from KG5. A slice of cheese. I've been Andrew Calling, Daniel Webb joining me today. Thank you, Webby.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
And Ash and of last out the Dream Team bringing these pictures as per usual. We will be back next Friday night, the Under-20 Statewide Cup Final, South Hobart and Olympia. It was an absolute corker last year, one of the most enjoyable games of the year. Do join us for that one. And then on the Monday, the big Cup Final day. It's the Women's Statewide Cup Final. Early on from 11:30, we've got Kingborough taking on Taroona. Then at 2 o'clock, the Lacca Seljuk Cup Final, a spot in the FFA Cup, round of 32 on the line, Devonport and South Hobart. Do join us, but from KG5 on a chilly Sunday afternoon, it was Hobart Zebras sending a message to the league.